In December 2019, a new and deadly strain of coronavirus known as COVID-19 breached containment from a government-owned laboratory located in the city of Wuhan, China, and began to spread throughout the whole world. It spread relatively unnoticed until around January of 2020. This is when the virus became a worldwide threat, and it wasn't too long until it spread to the far lands of LTU Warzone. The majority of players infected with COVID survived and developed resistance to the virus. Sadly, the same could not be said for the Russian Goblins, since they possess very weak immune systems and do not practice any sort of hygiene. Approximately 97% of Goblins afflicted with COVID were killed. This led to a near extinction event for Goblins, nearly wiping out their entire species. However, a small amount of Goblins were able to survive COVID by the means of the coronavirus entering the stem cells of the Goblin subject and fusing with the 21st set of Goblin chromosomes, forming a symbiosis between the coronavirus and the Goblin. These 3% of Goblins developed resistance to the virus, and their mutated DNA allows them a chance to undergo a 3-step mutation. The first step is known as Goblin Tier 5A. This crucial step causes the Goblin's skin to harden and turn green. If they transition to Tier 5B, the Goblin undergoes spontaneous and acute protein synthesis, leading to massive muscle growth and further thickening of the skin, forming it into a hard and durable outer layer of protection from physical damage. The final stage, Tier 5C, leads to the Goblin completely polymorphing into a towering green golem-like creature, which is extremely strong, able to leap up to 100 meters in the air and run at speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour, and can kill players equipped with higher tier armor like Vader and UMP with just a single punch. This final evolved stage of Goblin is extremely rare, and no footage has been found to date. The small number of Goblins who survived the COVID pandemic were further blessed by the Lord Eustachius himself, who forged a new suppressor from the remains of a still radioactive control rod of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. This new suppressor, called the particle generator, deals 20% more damage per shot and afflicts the person who is shot with it with extreme nausea and reverse brain-to-hand coordination, crippling them temporarily. Goblins who manage to get their hand on these guns with the particle suppressor, which include the typical Goblin guns like the SVD and a Menno, can almost always guarantee killing their target with these weapons of mass goblinry, increasing their chance of grubbing loot. As well as the mutations and particle guns that Goblins now have access to, they have learned to evolve and adapt to the ever-changing environment of LTU. This includes developing and using new Goblin tactics to grub even more loot than before. This previously most common method that Goblins employed to obtain loot on the server was to kill their target, preemptively type /home and spam the F key on as much loot as they could before the teleport took effect. However, this method proved not to be very effective, since the teammates of the downed player can easily kill the Goblin during the 10-second /home period. As a result, Goblins now use a new and improved method, which consists of killing their target and upon reaching close proximity of the loot pile, open /vault and store the loot in their vault, instantly guaranteeing the loot safety, even if the Goblin is killed while doing so. This new method is very popular due to a simple formula that scientists dub the brain-to-vault space coefficient. This formula states that the decreasing amount of brain tissue present in the Goblin's head positively correlates with the space present in their /vault. In layman's terms, the more dumb a Goblin is, the more vault space he has. This has led to the popular phrase called empty vault-like head. One day, I spent several hours hiding in a tree overlooking a Goblin swamp, hoping desperately to document an encounter with one of the elusive beasts. With the bait set and S7 helmet laying on the ground, a Goblin eventually reared its head and swam up onto the swamp shore, gradually approaching the loot and snatching it into its green paws. Squealing with joy, it swiftly retreated back into the murky waters. While foraging even deeper into the forests looking for mushrooms, I stumbled across a Goblin who appeared to have just /homed after grubbing an unlucky player's gear. He approaches a seemingly normal-looking tree until he cuts it open and reveals a perfectly concealed locker, which he deposits all of his gear into. Throughout these past several months, goblins have faced new hardships, leading to the deaths of the majority of their population. The few that survived have learned to thrive and adapt in this cancerous environment, continuing their ancestors' ancient legacy of grubbing loot from players. Goblins are stronger than ever, armed to the teeth with particle guns and employing new metas, and in conclusion, they are here to stay.
Pan mechanik, koszula z flaneli, to największy z lokalnych kusicieli. Spodnie na szelkach, dziewczyny się garną, lecz on jest wybredny, nie zajmuje się blacharką. Pan mechanik po melanżach, bierze dziewczyny na warsztat. Coś postuka, coś posprawdza. No to teraz będzie jazda. Na ścianie wisi kalendarz z gołą panią.